Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about the Washington Commanders 2023 draft class and why so far it's been a disaster, but it's early, and I'll also be talking about some moves they can make with this rookie draft class to kind of salvage their season. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, that notification bell as well. It really does help out the channel. Appreciate all the birthday wishes yesterday. Also, check out BetUS, link in the description. And guys, I do know the last few videos have been pretty negative. I'm going to try to, stay away from that in the next couple of days leading up to the Atlanta Falcons versus Commanders Week 6 matchup. But it's hard not to be negative after that bad Commanders performance. I love this team, but I'm also going to keep it real. And it's still very, very early with this rookie class. Like, a lot of these guys could end up being studs down the line, but so far it's been a disappointing rookie class because some of these guys, Andre Jones, you're not expecting a 7th round guy, late 7th round guy to be a contributor year one. Same thing with Chris Rodriguez, and he has gotten snaps. KJ Henry, 5th round pick, you're like, okay, you would like for him to be a contributor, but he hasn't been. But once you start getting to your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks, those guys should be playing. And Braden Daniels was more of a developmental guy, so I'll give him a little pass on that one. But, in the offseason, he didn't look good, and, if he didn't get hurt, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They were probably going to, do what they ended up doing, trying to find an injury, but I think he broke his collarbone, so they were able to put him on IR. Ricky Stromberg. I actually do like Ricky Stromberg, and I think this is one of the changes I think they should make. I think they should put him in the starting lineup. Maybe you don't put him in for, Nick Gates, but if they have another bad, performance on the offensive line, I wouldn't mind putting him in for Sadiq Charles or Nick Gates because I think he can be good. He showed some good things during training camp, showed some good things also during, the preseason as well, and, has played some, obviously not a ton. He's played 4 snaps so far, but, he's a guy I think that can go in there and start. Quan Martin has been extremely disappointing. Has played 0 defensive snaps. 0. Has played some special teams, had a concussion, just hasn't had a good year at all. And it sucks because, 2nd round guys, you expect a 2nd round guy, honestly, to start. You expect a 2nd round guy to start, and it's disappointing if he doesn't start. But at the very minimum, you expect him to be a contributor. And I think it might have been Grant Paulson or someone put out a tweet showing all the 2nd round picks and the snaps they played. And I think there's 3 guys that didn't play snaps, going into week 5, and Quan Martin was one of them, and the other 2 guys I believe were injured, and that's why they weren't playing. So really disappointing so far that Quan Martin hasn't played at all, and we could kind of notice it during the preseason when he was getting cooked by those 3rd string guys, but I still expected him to play a little bit. But now with the injury to Derek Forrest, I expect him to play a little. But that's kind of why I didn't really like the Quan Martin pick, just because we already had Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, Percy Butler, even Jeremy Reeves ahead of him, and it was going to be hard for him to get playing time at safety, and even at the Buffalo nickel position. Again, Percy Butler plays there. Sometimes Derek Forrest can play there, and guys are ahead of him, and they got 3 cornerbacks already ahead of him in Forbes, Kendall Fuller, and Benjamin St-Juste. So it was never an ideal situation for Quan Martin, and that's why when they drafted him, I was excited about the player because he's an athletic freak and he has some good things about his game, but he also was going to be raw, and we needed offensive line way more than we needed a slot cornerback or nickel cornerback, maybe safety. We needed that more, but decided to take Quan Martin, and I was fine with it, assuming he was going to start for us or play a lot, and he hasn't. And then Manuel Forbes, it's early, but the returns haven't been great on him. He's played 5 games. I think 1 game he's had it was good. I think the Cardinals game was good. Broncos game wasn't great. It was up and down, though. He had a interception, but also got beat a few times. The Bills game wasn't great, wasn't terrible. And then the Eagles game was bad, and the Bears game was bad. It's early. It's 5 games, but, was expecting a little bit more from him. These are some of the stats. 5 games, the starts doesn't matter because he's, playing usually a majority of the snaps. 61% of the snaps. That's also another thing. Like, you expect your 1st round rookie to play
more than that, but they do have some good depth. He's been targeted 27 times, allowed 20 catches for 461 yards, 37.0, or I guess 37 PFF grade. And then he's gotten some tackles, like 5 or 6 pass deflections and an interception. So, like, the thing with Forbes is that's been most disappointing with me is that he has been in the, in position to make some of these picks, but he was supposed to be a ball hawk, and he was in college, but he hasn't been making those interceptions that, he was making in college, and I thought he was going to make in the NFL. So if he can at least fix that the rest of the way, that'll, increase his value a ton, because we drafted him to make interceptions and, force turnovers. And, he had one, but I was expecting maybe a little bit more, but he's been in position. That's the encouraging thing. Emmanuel Forbes has been in position to make some of these plays. He just hasn't made them, and I think that will revert back to normal, and he'll be making those plays, I'm hoping, or else he could be in trouble. Also, the tackling isn't great. You guys all know my stance on Emmanuel Forbes. Was not, a big fan of drafting him. I liked, Deontay Banks and Christian Gonzalez over him, and Devin Witherspoon, who was drafted way before. We drafted Forbes. It is what it is. We got to root for him now, but the returns haven't been great. But also, the coordinator, Jack Del Rio has to do a better job of using him. Can't be putting him against the biggest guy on the opposing team. Like, Devontae Smith would have, still probably would have cooked Forbes because, Devontae Smith is amazing, but he's a better matchup for Forbes than A.J. Brown. In the Bears game, I saw a few snaps where he was lined up against Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's got like 100 pounds on him. He's got 100 pounds on Emmanuel Forbes. So that to me was disappointing, but not surprising at all because Del Rio's definitely mismanaged something. I might even make a video tomorrow about Del Rio and if they should or shouldn't fire him. Talk about that. He's, the last few years he's turned things around, but they've been playing a lot more man than they usually do these first few games, and that also hasn't helped Forbes as well because he's more of a zone corner. But I think Forbes has a chance to bounce back. It's all about the mentality. I think he will be fine, but yeah, that's the biggest thing with Forbes. Like, he's just got to forget about what he's done these last 2-3 games and move past it. And Falcons, they don't have any really dynamic receivers. They have Drake London, who is, he can definitely make plays. He is a good receiver, has a chance to be better than good, but like, he's not going to kill you with his speed, and he's more of a contested catch guy. So, I still wouldn't put Emmanuel Forbes on him because he is a big body. He's like 6'4". I would probably put him on someone else, maybe like Van Jefferson. But I think Emmanuel Forbes would match up way better on Drake London than he did against A.J. Brown. But that's not saying a ton. But real quick, a word from our sponsor today. And a huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. BetUS is the leading online sports betting company. They're very secure, and they've got great customer service if you have any issues. They have so many different sports you can bet on. NHL is starting back up. You can bet on that. You got basketball, which is also starting back up. And of course, we're in the middle of football season. You got the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs game this, Thursday night. Might not be a good game, but might be a good game to bet on. Kansas City Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites. The site is very, very easy to navigate through. It's also very easy to get started. Just click, you can click through my link and, you can get to the Get Started page, put in your information. It's very easy. Use my link in the description to get 125% first time deposit match. She'll give you a lot of money to play around with while you're getting the groove of things. So make sure you guys check them out and bet responsibly as always. All right, back to the video. So talk about Emmanuel Forbes. Again, it hasn't been great. I think it will get better because it's hard not to get better. And, some of these plays, like, he's gotten super close. So I think that'll be better. The thing with him also, he said this in the offseason, which I was like, man, that's great awareness. Like, he's saying, it's not college. Like, these quarterbacks aren't as bad as they were in the NFL or as they were in college. They're NFL quarterbacks, they're NFL receivers. So he said he, wasn't going to be, or he, couldn't be as aggressive as he was in college. But he's done the opposite so far, than what he said he was going to do. He's bid on a bunch of double moves, and, you just can't be super aggressive. And I understand in certain situations, but, against a lot of these receivers, you can't be that aggressive. You got to be, if you give up the 10-plus yard gain, that's fine, but you can't try to jump the route and, end up giving a 60-yard reception for a touchdown, or try to, bite on the double move and then, A.J. Brown scores a touchdown. You just can't do that. So I think he'll get better, and that's the thing I think he can do the best at. Hey, even if you're getting beat, if it's a 10, 12-yard reception, that's so much better than a 40, 50-yard reception. That's the last 2 weeks. That's been happening to him. So that's one thing that can easily be correctable. And then, of course, I think the interceptions will start to come. I'm hoping for him as well. Quan Martin, I talked about him, but he's going to get some more PT. He's going to get some more PT, or some PT, I guess, with Derek Forrest out. And I'm interested to see what he, does. Where they play him, I think they'll probably play Percy Butler's free safety. So Quan Martin could get some snaps at Buffalo nickel. Let's see what he does. It wasn't encouraging the preseason, but that's the last time he played. Who knows if he's gotten better? He's definitely probably gotten better. But also, playing in a real game is different than playing the preseason. Some guys show out in those real games more than guys in the preseason or definitely training camp. We've seen that in the past as well. So I'm not going to really say Quan Martin's a bust. I mean, really shouldn't say that until a year or two down the line. But I want to at least see him play a game before I comment on him. So, before I judge how good of a player he is. Because he's super athletic. I mean, 44-inch vertical, and he's quick. He's got the potential. He just got to read it a little bit quicker. It's a new defense for him. And that's probably why I was a little bit slow to start off. But secondary hasn't been great, so I don't think it can get that much worse. So put him in there. Let's see what he does, and there'll be growing pains. Like, there's definitely, if he does play significant snaps in the next few weeks, there will be 1 or 2 busted coverages. But we're gonna have to take those growing pains, and hopefully he gets better and better as the season goes on, and there's less and less of those growing pains. And I talk about rookie Stromberg. I feel like he's probably been the best rookie, even though he's only played 4 snaps. I feel like they could start him, and he would be, a good. I think he can be a good starter. Again, with these rookies, there's going to be growing pains. There's been growing pains with Emmanuel Forbes. There's been growing pains with Quan Martin, or even in the preseason. But once he plays, there will be, and with Ricky Stromberg as well, there will be growing pains. But he's got good potential, and he played well in the preseason, and he got so much better from when he first came in till now. He's totally different player. He, started this, when he came in, he was like the 4th-string center. Now he's the backup center / guard. He's gotten some snaps already in the season, and you can't really tell much, from that. But it's 4 snaps. But I want to see him play. I wouldn't also mind putting in Cornelius Lucas as well. I doubt they do that, but you can make a couple of changes for sure to shake up this offensive line. And then regarding the other guys, like, again, Andre Jones, you're not expecting him to, be a contributor. He's played on special teams. Like, that's as much as you're really going to get out of a 7th rounder. If you get more than that, that's a great pick. Chris Rodriguez, he's been sick the last 2 weeks. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. I hope he's fine, but being out for 2 games, if he's out for this game, then I don't know. Like, it's got to be pretty bad. But I think I would like to see him get more carries. Like, Gibson has been disappointing in terms of, he's fumbled it, twice this year. I want to keep him as a receiving back and use him, honestly, not even as a receiving back, as a receiver. But, I mean, we've already had enough trouble getting targets to our top guys. It would be tough with him. But he's he can be an explosive receiver, so I'd keep using him there. But give Chris Rodriguez some carries, and I think, that'll help out this rookie class as well. And then KJ Henry, he's been inactive every week, so I don't think he's going to make an impact, much of an impact. But I think the guys that can are Ricky Stromberg, and then if Emmanuel Forbes bounces back, he definitely could as well. And then Chris Rodriguez as like a short yardage back occasionally. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe as well, and turn on the notification bell. Peace, guys.